and welcome to another episode of Gold Rush here on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Redmond coming to you from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois, joined by my buddy Jabari Sinclair.
Yo,
And
yo, what's up?
how's it going, Bari? I enjoy these off days when I can actually do my full research.
Exactly.
I had to do a little binging on some old matches today that I kind of forgotten about. When we're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
this belt we're going to be getting into. Uh, this one's one of my favorites, Bari. I think you agree.
One of my favorites as well.
Yeah, when you talk about the WWF WWE championships, it's always everybody talks about the Winged Eagle first, and then after that, it's kind of a toss up between the Big Eagle Attitude Era belt and this one, which is we're talking about the WWE Championship from 2002. I guess the traditional name is the Undisputed Championship because
Yeah,
this is the one that they debuted after Triple H won the world title at WrestleMania 18.
18 against
Yeah,
Jericho. Yeah,
yeah. And see, he's got the world title, he's got the WCW title, and the Big Eagle. And I guess it was decided it was a little too clunky that way, Bari, because
right.
I mean, I mean that's easy. That's easily 40 pounds added to your luggage if you're the world champion
Oh
at
yeah,
that point.
definitely, definitely, and that's gonna get a little heavy after a while.
Hmm. Yeah. So they wound up reaching out to it's actually cool. It's a tattoo artist from New York named Keith, and I'm gonna butcher his last name, Chamarello, I think it is. Uh,
Sounds right.
my apologies if I got it wrong, but uh, yeah, they didn't go Reggie Parks on this one. They went with a whole new guy. So, and
and you
that's
can tell, and you can tell that it was somebody different. I mean, it's a whole different design of anything that Reggie would have ever had did.
yeah, it's I love the design. They got all the staples. They got the eagle on there. They got the globe. Uh, I don't have a good vision of the side plates. The side plates were very different. They were almost like badges more than side plates like they used to use, which was cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so the belt debuted on April 1st, 2002 on Monday Night Raw. I think it was I forget the date of WrestleMania, but it was a couple weeks after that. And Ric Flair brought it out on TV. So this is when it got debuted. He brought it out, and I remember vividly sitting on my friend's couch watching the show when he brought this belt out, and I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was great.
Yeah, yeah. The scratch logo and all.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If we were to nitpick, I know we usually talk about one belt, but this design went from the WWF to the name change a couple months later. So they changed it to the E, and they made the belt a little bit bigger, I think.
Yeah, they
So
did.
we're just going to cover that whole lineage of this design more than just this one belt specifically. Otherwise, it'd be a very short episode. So,
Don't hold your breath.
no. It's not going to be a long one anyway, because there's only 10 guys that held this belt.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, there wasn't very much research to do, but I mean, there were a bunch of enjoyable matches to watch.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure, I'm going to guess we're probably going to have some different opinions on our favorite matches list on this episode.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, mine, for the most, like, it's like I have five. Two of them have the same people on two occasions on my list. So,
And then one of my favorite matches is actually one of my top 10 favorite matches of all time. So,
mm, oh, well, we'll get to it though. But we're going to,
yeah.
all right. So, like I said, debuted on April 1st, 02. So the first champion to officially hold this title is Triple H.
Uh,
It didn't hold it long.
no, he didn't.
The- uh,
And it was a shock when he lost it.
it really was. I mean, in hindsight, you shouldn't be surprised considering who he dropped it to.
Yeah.
I thought they were
No,
gonna,
knowing what we know now, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, when it happened, I could have swore he was gonna hold the belt until he faced the Undertaker, and Taker was gonna take it from him. But the audible was called Bari, and they put it on the Hulkster. There you see him
I
at
remember,
Backlash
yeah,
2002.
I remember watching that entire Backlash pay per view at a buddy of mine's house, and then the main event had started. And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna watch this because there's no way in hell Triple H is gonna lose to Hogan. And I will be damned if I didn't get home good enough.
Uh,
Like, yeah, Hogan the champion now. Ah, shit.
oh, I actually watched this pay-per-view this morning, just because I hadn't watched it in forever. I didn't watch it live. I had to wait until the network started because I couldn't find the DVD to save my life after it got put out.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. It was one of those hard finds.
hmm But I'll tell you what, I was at the SmackDown after Backlash when Hogan came out with the belt. So
Nice.
that was my first time seeing Hogan in person, and that was a pretty good show. It had Jericho and Triple H was the main event that night. Undertaker showed up. It was Mark Henry rolled up the frying pan.
Okay, yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. And Randy Orton's first TV match was on that show. So
Ah, yes.
so a lot
Mindy
of
was in the Minder was in the attendance of that night as well.
yeah, that's what she told me. But yeah, it was a pretty notable show. So I enjoyed it immensely. Uh, yeah, pretty much as expected. Undertaker had won a number one contenders match at Backlash. Kind of, if you follow the storyline, it looked like he pretty much handpicked his opponent. He kind of handed that win to Hogan because Laughlin Hunter
Exactly.
with the chair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was in the finish at the main
Yep,
event of
yep.
Backlash.
Vendors was there. Easy. Uh, so yeah, Judgment Day, just a month later. So Hogan and Triple H both only held the belt for a handful of weeks, and then Taker beat Hogan at Judgment Day.
With the worst choke slam in
Oh,
history.
so bad. He would have been better off giving him a tombstone.
Exactly.
I mean, if you listen to Hogan now, he says that Undertaker injured him with a tombstone, but you go
God,
back and watch that match in '91, he didn't. His head came nowhere near the mat.
no, nowhere near the man. If
Nope.
anything, right? If anything that would have injured him, it would have been nothing. So there's nothing to it.
Yep, indeed. I really like Taker's run with this belt.
Oh yeah,
It was only for a couple months, but the match he had probably the best like run of matches with it in that first year after winning. He had the matches with Angle on SmackDown. He had the match with Hunter at King of the Ring. He had the ladder match with Jeff Hardy on Raw. He had a match with Van Dam on Raw, and then of course he had the three-way match at Vengeance when he dropped the title
yep,
with Angle and The Rock, which I watched that match again today, and
hmm
definitely still holds up.
yeah.
But yeah, he was the first guy to make it to actually be a dominant champion with the belt because Hogan didn't defend it all that much when he had
No,
it.
you didn't.
Hunter didn't get the chance to. I mean, he got the belt on the first and what was Vengeance or Backlash like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that.
Yeah, a
So
very short time after that. Yeah,
yeah. So like we said, Vengeance 2002, The Rock won the triple threat match
and
with
that's a
Angle and The
bigger belt,
Undertaker. That's the bigger belt. Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it's once they when they put the changed the logo when they did the name change. I think is when they made it the bigger belt.
It's got more of a rustic look to it as well.
hmm Yeah, you
Yeah.
can get a better look at the plates, the side plates on this picture. But yeah, definitely a departure from the old ones. It's funny we're talking about The Rock considering the he's been kind of on the tip of everybody's tongue the last couple of weeks, Barry.
Well, SmackDown will be on in less than an hour. We'll see what happens.
Yep, that's kind of why I'm glad this is going to be a short episode because I'm curious to see what happens. I heard Triple H
Exactly.
is supposed to be on there, so should be interesting.
Yes.
Rock purely transitional champion, same deal. He only had a handful of title defenses, and at SummerSlam, uh, we can still show him, I guess, technically because he is germane to the conversation. But Brock Lesnar beat him for the belt.
Yeah.
Uh, Good match too. I remember that's the pay-per-view I did watch in person
It
or
was
or on TV.
that was a true passing of the torch.
Yeah, Rock definitely made Brock in that match. Then then Brock would do the business with the Undertaker, a couple pay-per-views with him, the Hell in a Cell match, which was one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches. Uh, Again, all these guys were just pushing Brock to the moon during this run because Brock was only less than a year in the on the main roster at
Yeah.
this point. So
And what, like 23, 24 years old? A
I think he was
pup.
tw I think he was 24 or 25.
Yeah.
But
Still a
still, for
pup.
back then, a pup, yeah. Because there weren't a lot of 20, 21-year-old phenoms like there are nowadays on the roster.
Exactly.
I mean, it was him and Orton pretty much were the young guys. But yeah, so Lesnar, and we should mention he was also undefeated at this point in his career. He hadn't lost any, like going up through being the champion until Survivor Series of 2002. When Paulie
Oh,
stuck the knife in the back and helped the Big Show win the World Championship at Survivor Series.
big greasy. Look at him.
Uh-huh.
God.
And I remember being I didn't know if Brock was going to F5 the Big Show going into that match. Yeah, and I know he's done it several times since then, and they always look kind of sloppy. But the one he did at Survivor Series was damn near perfect.
Yeah, it was.
It, I just remember seeing Heyman's face when he did it. He was just in shock. It was just it was just done so well to have Heyman turn on him, make Brock the babyface. Uh, After this, it gets a little confusing for a couple months here, Bari, with what's going on.
Yeah.
We got another short title run because at Armageddon he dropped it to Kurt Angle. Now Paul was still with Big Show, but then after Angle won the title, he turned around and announced that Heyman was also his agent. So Heyman was with both of them. It's kind of an incestuous situation.
Right.
It's like they were just conspiring to keep the belt off of Lesnar.
That's what it sounded like.
Hmm. And Angle's run lasted for about 4 months, from Armageddon to Mania.
The
Uh,
Mania.
it his During this reign is one of the matches I have on my top five list, which was really good from the Royal Rumble. But we'll get into that as we get to it. But yeah, he had the matches with Edge and Benoit, and I think he, well, technically Lesnar on TV. It was actually Eric Angle. That was the most confusing damn thing before WrestleMania. They had, if I hadn't seen the replay, I would have been confused.
Right.
Kurt comes
Yeah.
out, then while Lesnar's making his entrance, he slides out. His brother Eric comes in, dressed the same, do the old switcheroo, and then Brock F5's Eric Angle goes for the pin, stops it too. I would have just kept it on because the referee didn't know. He would have counted three. But
Exactly.
but Brock sees it's not Kurt, so he gets up, and then as he's talking, or I think he had to fight off Team Angle. I think Benjamin Haas came out, and then Kurt switched back with his brother, then rolled up Brock and won. It was very confusing, but a fun way to lead into WrestleMania when he finally did drop the belt back to Brock.
Exactly.
Almost killed himself in the process with that damn shooting star press he tried to do.
Man, don't try this at home.
Uh-huh. I mean, I know he did it in OVW, and I guess he always did it well, but it did not look good. He broke his fall with his head.
Yeah, he really did. And yeah, he had did it in OVW, but he hadn't did it in a match where he had been going hard as hell for 20+ minutes.
Hmm. Plus, I think Kurt was a little too far away from him
Yeah,
because Kurt was almost in the middle of the ring.
yeah, he was.
If you're doing a shooting star, you want him a little closer than that. But I don't know why my nose is all plugged up, but it's all good. So Brock wins the belt back at Mania. Uh, has the babyface run. Has a match with Cena at Backlash. Cena's first title shot, which I thought was a very good match.
It was.
Then the stretcher match with the Big Show, which is the follow up from one of my favorite things I ever saw on SmackDown on a pay per view. Big Show puts Mysterio on a stretcher and just whacks him into the ring post.
You can't fake that.
No, and the fact that it's the world's largest athlete with the smallest guy on the roster makes it easier. But yeah, I just saw him do that, and then the fact that Ray landed on his face
Yeah.
because his
No.
his arms were tied. He
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't break his own. It's like,
There
good
was no break.
lord.
That's why I said, yeah, you can't fake that one.
Well, so that led to the stretcher match. Brock
Mac
won.
ate shit.
Uh, Vengeance '03 Angle wins the belt back in the triple
Another
threat
triple
match,
threat.
which led to Lesnar turning heel, and this doesn't age well of aligning himself with Vince McMahon.
Oh man, but the angle was so great though. Do you remember the angle
The cage, right?
yeah, it was so great,
It
so
was done
great
so well. It
because
was.
for McMahon they were at it, this back and forth, and you thought like, okay, yeah, we're gonna see him get his ass kicked in his cage, and
Mm.
then boom, the turn. It's like, whoa, shit, which led to a hell of a match at that following SummerSlam. Hell of a
Yeah.
match.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Lesnar. I think Lesnar's first submission loss
Yeah,
in that match.
yeah.
Uh, uh,
The F5 on one leg.
yeah. I mean, say what you want about the guy. He's a fucking freak. He's just
Exactly.
a freak in nature as far as athleticism goes back then.
Yeah.
Uh, that led, of course, SmackDown. They had the Iron Man match, the 60-minute Iron Man match, which
I
Brock did
remember
the
watching. Yeah.
Brock did the smartest thing you can do in an Iron Man match. He hit him with the chair 5 minutes in and got DQ'd, and then just pinned him twice afterwards to go ahead of him.
I actually
But
started using that strategy when I would play we playing the video games with friends. Like, okay, yeah, we're doing the
oh
Iron
yeah,
Man match. Let me go ahead and pop you 2 times. You can have these wins, but now you're right. Now you're damaged for the rest of the match, though. So
hmm particularly because after he hit him with the chair, then Cole's going. I was like, what the hell's he doing? He's a moron. He just caused a fall. I was like, yeah, but he's gonna get like three of them out of that.
exactly, I've just
And
weakened my
yeah,
opponent.
Brock pretty much dominated that whole 60 minutes.
Oh,
And then that's how we got the belt back. Uh, he had, I think, to that point, the longest run with the belt
yeah,
from September to February.
February.
hmm And again, had the biker chain match with Undertaker uh, with the Vince assist. He had a really good match with Benoit on SmackDown for the title.
Yeah, post Survivor Series.
Yeah, because Benoit got him to tap in the Survivor Series match, and they got him a title
Hmm.
shot, and it was just a real banger of a match. Uh,
It was.
another another match I forgot to mention. Right before the Iron Man match, Angle defended against Undertaker on SmackDown. I don't know if you remember that match or not, Bari, but
They
back and
had so
forth, he
many.
didn't know. Yeah, it was such a good match. It got ruined though because Lesnar came out and hit both of them with a chair threw the match out. But going into
Yeah.
that, it was a
Okay.
pay-per-view quality match. But yeah, I want to make sure I mention that because I think it's on my list actually. But anyway, fast forward again. No Way Out '04. Again, I just watched that pay-per-view today. Uh, that's where we get Eddie, and Eddie
We
beats
get
Brock.
and
Huge
and and,
upset.
and there, right, and there again, I was like, where, and I've always been an Eddie Guerrero fan, but I was like,
Uh-huh.
Eddie versus Brock. Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it happened. And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it
The
worked.
assist of Bill Goldberg on that match.
Right.
But I
Once
mean, I was
Steve Austin
thrilled.
gave Bill Goldberg those tickets and said, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do," I knew then we're going to get a new
Uh-huh.
champion.
Yep. And I couldn't have been happier that Eddie won the belt though, because he's one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, gotta love Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah. Eddie held it from February through, was it June?
July,
July. Okay. I always lose track of when the Great American Bash was on the
July.
calendar. But he dropped the belt to the good old boy John Bradshaw Layfield.
Hmm.
And I mean, he said and did despicable things as a heel, which you kind of want out of your heels. But he was so good at it. He made it
So
so easy to dislike him after everybody loved him in the APA for so long to turn it around and become this. I thought he looked like an oil tycoon from Dallas, the TV show Dallas in the '80s.
exactly.
but I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be a businessman or a politician, maybe a little bit
Right.
of both.
Look at him, Sam Curry. Sam Curry himself.
Uh-huh. Chasing Mexican
Big money.
immigrants across the border with the flashlight.
Exact. God, that was
Oh,
such great stuff.
stuff, stuff that will not age well now.
No stuff that wouldn't fly now.
No, but yeah, Bradshaw. I love Bradshaw's run with the belt. He had the longest run with this belt
Yeah, 10 and a
from
half
July,
months.
yeah, July to April, and defended it against a real who's who, if you think about it, because it
He
was,
defended against everybody.
yeah,
You
got
think, yeah,
Eddie, Angle, Taker, Benoit, not Benoit. Benoit was on Raw. Booker is what I was
Booker
trying to say.
T.
Yeah, and yeah, and he always found a way to weasel his way out of every match with the belt. He didn't get a lot of clean wins on pay-per-views, but he always found a way to get to sneak off with that
Everything,
belt.
everything was a gimmick or an angle.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Oh,
that barbed
thinking
wire steel cage match.
I watched that today too.
Right, we just put a hat on a hat.
Uh-huh. But I love the finish though because he went through the ring and he
Yeah,
crawled out the bottom. And,
yeah. Well, he was the first one to get the right to reach the floor.
right, right.
That's the rule. He didn't break
Yep.
it.
It's funny to think Bradshaw is 6'6", 300 some odd pounds when he's the champion, but he was always the cowardly heel almost, where he was hiding behind the cabinet or Orlando and finding these loopholes to get victories. The bull rope match itself was with Eddie at the Bash was the same way. It was like I think they did the old finish where they were both touching the post at the same time, and
And
it
then, and then he just happened to fall into it. Well, hello, Noodles.
yep. My producer has arrived. She likes this new desk because she has room to get up here. But
Right.
yeah, I think they had said I think the ref declared Eddie the winner, but then Angle rolled out in his wheelchair and said that it was Bradshaw.
Because he fell into the turnbuckle first. He fell into
Yes,
it.
the Conan finish from
Yeah.
the strap matches on Nitro.
Yeah.
But you're gonna knock stuff. See, you're already knocking stuff over. See, she knocked over my Big Alfonso whistle that I have sitting here,
Oh
and
no.
her tail is hazardous sometimes. Can you sit? She's like, what can I get into?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, let's fast forward to No Way Out. He wins the barbed wire cage match with Big Show. And the big question there was, is Batista going to challenge Bradshaw or Hunter? And this was, I think it was the day before the big thumbs up, thumbs down contract signing on Raw.
That sounds
But
right.
but Batista and Cena were both there, and Cena threw Bradshaw through a table or the stage or something. I forget what it was exactly. I'm going to move this keyboard so you don't step on it and do something wonky to the feed here. Uh, and then, yeah, at WrestleMania they wound up making it Cena versus Bradshaw, and it was like we said, Cena had a shot a couple years before this, but this is like optimum Cena. This is when he's the most over he's ever been in the company.
Yeah. White hot.
Yes, and strong match at Mania too between those two. I really enjoyed it. Hey, Noodles. Minder says hello. She she's literally still just literally. Yep, there she is. But I distract easily when it comes to my cat. Now,
It's all
see, you
right.
did it again. You knocked my wiener whistle off the table here. I'll get it later. Oh my goodness. Oh, now you done it. I'm gonna have to. Do I have to make rules now to where you're not allowed up here? Gonna keep knocking stuff over. And don't tell me it's your tail. My cat does not believe that her tail is a part of her.
No.
But here, we're gonna go James Bond here. So you keep interrupting. Say you're sorry. She's not sorry. Uh,
No. Not at all.
no. So anyway, Cena wins the belt, and I have the picture here. I keep getting distracted. No, don't you do it. Oh, now you're chasing the keyboard. You think this is a game now? Turn it off. Joke's on you. Uh, so, so there you see Cena. This is the only, well, other than WrestleMania, the only time you saw him with this belt because it was the SmackDown after Mania on April 9th, 2005, when he retired this belt in favor of the spinner.
Rest in peace, belt.
hmm or so we thought,
Yeah.
because uh, about a week later, Izzy Bradshaw found the belt and he started carrying it around in the name of tradition. Because he had his rematch, but he didn't want the spinner belt. He wanted the traditional WWE Championship.
Well, and could you blame him?
I cannot blame him. I'd rather have his belt too. So this led to the I Quit match at Judgment Day '05. And I just distinctly remember they both carried their belts to the ring, and Bradshaw made Nick Patrick hold both of them up. Like when they hold the belt up before the match, he held up
Yeah,
the
I
spinner,
remember.
then Bradshaw made him hold up the traditional belt too. And yeah, and that was kind of the end of this. I think it made another appearance later in the year on Raw after Unforgiven when Cena lost by DQ to Angle, and Bischoff was going to strip him of the belt and give it to Angle. But after that, we didn't really see it anymore. It
Yeah,
was always the spinner.
it was always that damn spinner.
Mhm. And I never liked the spinner myself. It was a little too bling bling sideshow
Yeah,
for me.
no, we will not be reviewing the spinner in any
And
kind of
well,
long fashion. No long
well,
fashion.
no, I have in my head at some point we should do a an episode on like the custom belts, like the Smoking Skull, the spinner, the rated R belt, all that kind of stuff. That
The
would all
Jeff
be in the all that god awful Impact Jeff Hardy belt. But that's an episode for another time. So we couldn't. I don't think we could. Well, we could, but I don't want to devote a whole episode to that spinner
No,
belt.
me either.
Even after they disabled the spinner, so it was just it was just upright, or the Miz strung it upside down to give him the M.
Horrible, horrible. I
So
had
yeah,
a client who had that exact replica, the exact size and everything, and that damn thing weighs about 25 pounds.
I was gonna say the thing. It looked
It's
like
so
it weighed a
heavy, and
ton.
so clunky. Yeah, so it's so heavy and so clunky, and it's all like it's freaking solid. Like, ooh,
You'd see guys get hit with that like in matches, and you would feel like, oh damn, that's gotta hurt, even if they're
yeah,
working it. Menders has her opinion. She peel.
Mender,
Huh?
you're a woman of short words but wise words.
She's also a short woman.
Yeah, oh,
Nothing wrong with that.
nothing at
Looks cheap.
all.
It kind of looks cheap though.
It looked very cheap.
I would have rather had the $1 million belt than the spinner.
Exactly.
I mean, they all had CZs on them, but yeah, it when you go back, it's hard to believe that this belt was only around for 3 years, almost to the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
It's crazy
Short.
because, but man, it's so good. It's it's like how we went through that episode on all of Hogan's belts early on. I think it was like episode 4 or 5, maybe.
Yeah,
And some of those belts that Hogan like ran through in the mid '80s were nicer than the Hogan '86, the one that he kind of made famous before the Winged Eagle.
yeah. I want to say his second belt, the that silver and black one. I liked
Yeah,
it.
yeah, the one that had the design of the old TV title,
Yeah, yeah.
that shape. I think that one might have been my favorite, besides the big green.
Exactly. I like Big Green as well.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll be selling that one at the Expo, Bari.
I'm so excited to see what they're gonna have. Like I'm definitely gonna grab something, and I'm so excited to see what they
Yes,
have. I'm not
me
gonna wait
too.
around this like I did last year, and I was
No,
like
we
hesitant.
need to we need to try to rendezvous at the same time when we get there. Well, number one, because Minders has Stacy's ticket on her package, so
Right.
we have to get there. But that way we can get in there at the same time because it was kind of an issue trying to find you guys when we got there last year.
Yeah, I know, right? It was all scatterbrained there for a couple of
Big
hours.
space.
Exactly.
But I'm looking forward to that. All you belt fans, they got some cool stuff. Plus, you see the people that go to the expo that carry their own belts, and they got some cool
Exactly.
stuff too.
Yeah, they do. Some of
Yeah,
it.
some. Then all the guys wearing Burberry last year because MJF was there.
Right.
You know we're gonna get a lot of people with with painted faces with Sting being there.
Oh yeah, you already know. Smelly and painted. Let's go.
Was there a guy on Dynamite that had the face paint under his glasses on Wednesday?
I,
I I,
I think so.
I think there was. Like I always thought that looked so ridiculous. I see it with kids when they would like Warrior fans back in the early '90s too, and craziness. By the way, Sting's sons when they came into the ring, one of the bigger one looked like he could have been in the Blade Runners.
Yeah, he right.
That's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Good grief.
All right, we have flown off topic here.
It's all right.
Big
It's okay.
surprise. You know, it's called the Jumping the Rail Podcast Network for a reason because we
Ex-
always fly off the rails, no matter what show we're on.
Exactly.
So let's talk notable feuds for this championship here, Bari. I've got four that really stick out to me. Number one, obviously Eddie and Bradshaw. Just the whole story that Bradshaw giving his mother a heart attack, the stuff at the border, the El Gran Luchador cage match on SmackDown. Yeah, it just everything just popped there. It was just so good, and you can tell that they actually like each other in real life because you know wrestlers hit their friends harder than anybody. So,
Exactly.
so yeah, that's my first one. I've got Triple H and The Undertaker. I think that was the first real money feud for this belt in '02. Uh, Angle and Lesnar might have been the longest running feud for this belt because it was pretty much the entirety of 2003,
Yeah, it
like
was.
all the way up until Survivor Series, pretty much. And then Lesnar and Big Show is kind of it stopped. It started, then it stopped, and then it picked up again between '02 and '03. And just for the feats of strength of Brock F5ing and suplexing the Big Show, it was pretty impressive.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Well, our list is pretty similar as always.
yeah, one brain, you know.
So, I guess I'll add in the Rock Angle Taker feud, their little three way feud they had
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. People forget how short that feud was too, because it was
Yeah,
pretty much just made over the course of like 3 weeks, and they got
yeah,
that match out of it. It was so good.
exactly.
All right. You got any more for that one, Barry, or are you good
Uh,
with it?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Let's talk favorite matches. This one, like I said, I think we're going to have some different opinions on this category here. Uh, I think I think the one we'll agree on though is Eddie and Bradshaw from Judgment Day '04.
Uh, oh yeah, no doubt.
Good Lord, I've never seen a guy bleed that much in a wrestling match.
I've never seen a chair shot that hard.
Oh no! And see, the chair afterwards was bent in half.
Yeah,
I legitimately, I was concerned for Eddie's well-being in that match after he got
yeah,
that cut. I was
and
like,
I've never
they may have to stop this.
I've never seen anybody bleed like that.
No, it just crazy. And it was Eddie of all people. It's not
Right.
like it's a deathmatch guy or Mick Foley or Terry Funk. So yes, that one's definitely at the top of my list. Undertaker versus Triple H from King of the Ring '02. It's the one that had The Rock on commentary, or no, it had Heyman on commentary, and then Rock made the run in when the referee went down. But a good blow off for this feud at King of the Ring there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
And
threw
then we
on.
did and then we didn't know if because remember prior to the match starting, the NWO approached Triple H and said if he needed help to just throw it up.
Uh-huh. And a part of me expected him to do it.
Yeah,
Oh man, because that was when it was like full on click mode. The only one when there was Hall.
exactly.
uh, yeah. So I'm gonna throw on here the ladder match from Raw, July 2nd of '02, Taker versus Jeff Hardy. we kind of discussed this on uh, Jumping the Rail a couple weeks ago after the match with Joe and Hook on Dynamite. I said I saw some similarities between that story and this one here, where Taker really made Jeff a star because Jeff was
He
still pretty
really
much a
did.
tag team guy,
Yeah.
and yeah, Taker made
They
him look
had
good.
he had to split her from Matt because of the draft, and that was Jeff Hardy's quote unquote coming out party right there.
Yeah, and I think the week after that he won the European Championship from Regal. So
That
I
sounds
think I really think Taker made Hardy in this case. So uh, I kind of mentioned it earlier, Angle versus Benoit from the Rumble. Just for pure technical wrestling matches, you couldn't get a whole lot better than this.
nope. You really couldn't.
Then after the match, Benoit got the standing O from the crowd. Like they literally went to like a commercial, and then when they came back, Benoit was in the ring getting his flowers. And he's a guy I'm surprised they didn't put this belt on.
Yeah.
Like I would have seen him more than Guerrero as far as like who they thought who would fit being the guy to take the belt off of Brock. But I'm not complaining because I love that Guerrero got it. Uh, yeah, then the other match we talked about it, Taker versus Angle from SmackDown in September of '03, right? The one with Brock in the chair. So that's my five, and I mean there's a ton more that we could get into. But yeah, so Bari, what do you got for this one?
My top five matches for this here undisputed championship. My first one is actually going to be a little bit of a shocker. We're going to go back to Raw of '02, and it was the main event, and it was Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I
And
remember that.
I say this is one of the top matches because this is one of the very last times that you actually seen a good match out of Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan
Yeah,
together.
and it might be the last time that they had a match, isn't it? Was it
I
their
think
last
they have
one-on-one match?
one more in Australia years later. On
Okay.
that Hulk Hogan. And then I'm going to go with the triple threat from Vengeance '02, Taker, Angle, and Rock, which is actually one of my top 10 matches of all time. That right there is the
Nice.
way a triple
Well
threat
deserved.
match is supposed to be ran,
I
in my
loved the
opinion.
sequence where they were doing each other's moves
Yeah,
in
doing
that
each other's
match.
finishes. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Um, and then I'm going to go with Taker, Triple H at King of the Ring. That was a banger. And
Yes.
then I'm going to go with Brock and Rock at SummerSlam.
Okay. Yeah, you could pick just about it.
Honorable, honorable mention to the Hell in a Cell match between Taker and Brock.
Okay. If I had to give an honorable mention on this, I think I would probably have to give it to. There was a match. Well, it's the match that led up to the Vengeance. It was Angle and Taker from SmackDown, July 4th.
Okay,
The
yeah,
one with the Phantom tap out. Because
the Kyle Penn.
yeah, because there was the pin and the tap at the same time, and then also the Brock Benoit match from SmackDown in
Okay,
'03. I'll put that on
okay.
there.
I got two stinkers.
Oh, okay, lay it on me.
Stinker one, Hardcore Holly, Brock Lesnar, Royal Rumble '04.
A good choice for Stinker.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was
There was
bad.
no way in right. There was no way in hell that they were putting the belt on Hardcore Holly, and he was insistent that they put the belt on Hardcore Holly. Said Hardcore
Uh-huh.
Holly, and we seen how that worked out.
Uh-huh.
And then my second stinker would have to be from a SmackDown. I want to say it was pre Judgment Day, 2002, and it was Chris Jericho versus Hulk Hogan.
Ooh, you know what? I know that was 2 weeks after Backlash because the match with Jericho and Triple H that I saw was the match to see who got Hogan. and Jericho
Okay.
won. So the
Okay.
next week was that match.
Yeah. Yeah. Stinker right there. I think it was like 2.5 minutes, and then Triple H interfered.
Oh, jeez, craziness.
Right.
I suppose if you wanted another stinker, you can go Brock and Angle with the one with the big switcheroo before WrestleMania.
But yeah,
Was
yeah, you can go there too.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, you can't all be winners, am I right?
No, no, you can't. Can't have all winners.
But you don't want them. You don't want them to all be winners because then you got nothing to talk about.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
you got to have something to say was ridiculous. I mean, shit, just watch
Yeah.
AEW and you can, for all the good stuff you see on AEW, there's just as much stuff you can scratch your head about, if not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I hold Adam Page's mustache as Exhibit A. Oh my goodness.
Anyhow,
All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk top five champions to hold the belt. I don't know. I have individual as a side. I think it's from the tag team championships. The other episode. Oh, but my top five with this belt is Angle, obviously, and all these are fairly obvious. Brock, I mean, he held the belt 3 times. I think is the most to be held by one person, like most reigns. I got Bradshaw, longest reign, and I would almost say most memorable reign. Uh, then I throw in the Taker run from '02, and just because he's so beloved by everybody, I put Eddie for my number five.
there you go. And then my top five goes as Brock, Angle, Taker, JBL, Eddie.
Okay, so same names, different order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all good. I mean, like I said, it's kind of an easy one. I mean, you can't put Hunter or Hogan on there because they only held the belt for a month tops.
Exactly. I mean, and if you put Hunter on there, you can say it because he had it first. But yeah,
Yeah, I won't lie. When The Rock debuted the new WWE Championship after the Royal Rumble
so
2013,
the big scratch logo,
I was kind of hoping that when they said they were bringing a new belt, they were bringing back this one,
or at least
uh,
a new version
a
of it.
version. Yeah, I mean the the one that they have grew on me. I got used to it, but yeah, this one, it just everything about it is just looks so just look at that. I mean, that is a world championship right there.
Exactly. It's extravagant and explosive, and it's loud. World
It's
Championship.
but still simple.
Yeah.
And we always talk about the ones that we love the most are the ones the design is simple. It's not too complicated, but it has just enough bells and whistles to it to make it really stick out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I remember this belt. Like I said, I can't believe it was only around for 3 years.
That's it.
Craziness. Uh, well, Bari, looks like we're gonna come in right before 7 o'clock, so we're not gonna miss SmackDown and see what happens with Triple H and all this business. But before we get out of here, I believe it is your turn to choose
It is
the next
it is
belt.
your turn to choose. I chose this belt, so
Oh,
this is
you
your
chose
turn.
this one. Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I have to think because I was going in here thinking it was your turn. Uh, all right. I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to pick the WCW Cruiserweight Championship.
Okay. All right.
A little meat on the bone on that one. But
Yeah, that'll be fun.
yeah, so I think that's the one we're going to do next time. Uh, not sure when that will be. Hopefully in 2 weeks. If not, we'll see. Uh, pay the bills here. Brainbustertees.com/JTR is where you get your Gold Rush merchandise. All two options. Uh, you get the We Call Them Belts shirt, or you can get 4 millimeter or bust. Uh, let's go to the link there, and also thanks to the people at Brothers for the Belt on Facebook, the Facebook group where I get a lot of my information for all these episodes. Uh, I think
They're a
you are
good group.
also you follow that group too, do you not,
Yes, I
Bari?
do. Yes, I do.
And it always got some good information on there. So if you ever have questions or concerns, you're looking for a belt, usually they got people selling them on there. If you want to go that route. Uh, so yeah, I think we can put a pin in this episode, Bari. What do you think?
All
Anything that I'm
right.
forgetting?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, until next, well, if you want to see some more of our stuff on the JTR Podcast Network on Tuesday, Jumping the Rail podcast, we will have Zach Ruber, the videographer from Zero One USA Pro Wrestling.
I'm looking forward to that right
He
there.
says he's got a juicy tale about Tony Khan that he wants to pass along. So we're gonna look forward to that. Zero One Shootout, the official podcast of Zero One USA. We will have B.A. Malkin, the Thursday Night Throwdown champion, will be joining us on that one. Menders is thrilled, uh, as you can imagine. And then, yeah, so that's what we got coming up this week. Check it out if you're interested. Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, not her favorite fellow there. So let's get out of here. For Bari, this is Reb. Remind you all, life is hard, work stiff, and we'll see you guys next time.